just show my people. Believe our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. No respect on selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes to WUB. And all the things that will feel happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WUB, get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play around, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling? It's not so we no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WUB, wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WUB, be yourself, see yourself. This is just show my people. Believe our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah.
Morning, Wednesday, August 6, 2025, from back at the zinc fence here in sweet Southside Belize City. It's Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes Talk Show, brought to you by XTV simulcasting on Creme Radio. I'm Sister YaYa, Marin Coleman, sitting in for the past 2 days for Brother Most High. Tomorrow, with Health and Strength, Brother Noor Mohammed should be here. We're live streaming on XTV Belize YouTube and XTV Belize Facebook. It's time to wake up. Not if you're not at work graveyard and you want to sleep, or maybe you retire, so you sleep till 12 o'clock or whatever time you feel like wake up. Youths, well, I think high schoolers gone to school yet. This might be their last week before they go back to school, and then I think the first Monday in September, the primary school students then go back. So I don't know if they wake up already. I know how some of them go wake up when the holiday and when the school days, they can't wake up, but we mean wake up mind, body, spirit. Wake up, Belize. It's our time for the next 2.5 hours. The lineup, the weather forecast is being brought to us by the National Meteorological Service of Belize. The forecaster today are Crystal Rosales. And then we have a first news brief brought to us by XTV Newsroom under the leadership of Marcela Maya. No news time, weather time.
Morning. A moderate to fresh and somewhat moist easterly airflow prevails over the area. In the 24-hour forecast, skies will be sunny with some cloudy spells today and then partly cloudy tonight. Showers and thunderstorms will be generally isolated, with a medium chance for a few more developing over inland areas today and then over the south tonight. High temperatures will reach around 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 92 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 81 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. For tonight, low temperatures will reach around 80 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 73 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to northeast at 10 to 20 knots, while sea conditions will be moderate, becoming light chop by tonight. And then high tides occur at 7:21 this morning and at 9:17 tonight. Low tides at 3:13 this afternoon and then at 1:45 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 4:37 this evening and then set at 3:48 tomorrow morning, while sunset is at 6:23 this evening and sunrise at 5:33 tomorrow morning. Then in the extended forecast, skies will be partly cloudy to cloudy for Thursday and Thursday night. Showers and thunderstorms will be isolated at first, with a few more expected over northern and central areas. Then in the sarcasm update, satellite and surface observations continue to show large amounts of sarcasm over our area. As a result, coastal destinations, especially over the northern half of the country, will continue to be impacted during the next few days. And finally, for the tropical weather outlook, at 3 a.m., Tropical Storm Dexter was located about 655 miles south-southeast of Halifax, Nova Scotia. This system poses no threat to Belize. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
Starting on November 21, Belize's skies will be brighter than ever as Sprint Airlines and their signature bright yellow airplanes will begin flying into the country. Today, the Belize Tourism Board announced a return of the direct air link between Belize City and Fort Lauderdale, Florida via the new service with Sprint. The route was previously offered by Southwest Airlines. Sprint will depart the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport at 10:15 a.m. local time, land in Belize at 11:40 a.m. local time, and depart the Philip Golson International Airport at 12:35 p.m. local time. The service will be offered 3 times per week on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. An introductory price of $85 per ticket one way is being offered by Sprint, which says the fare includes taxes and fees. The introductory fares are available for booking starting today at sprint.com. Lorenzo Gonzalez, the founder of Belize Tourism Future, spoke about what this new airline serving the country means for the tourism industry.
Well, as you may know, this is a comeback route. Before, Southwest used to travel from Fort Lauderdale to Belize City prior to the pandemic, and then it ended during the pandemic. So it's a very positive affirmation that there's still demand, that people from Florida are interested in traveling to Belize, and also that the BTB is doing a good job in making sure that these routes are still ongoing, because they are adding new routes as time goes by. And overall, I'd say it's really great news that we were tapping into that market again, because I think it's about like almost 24 million people live in Florida, and within the Miami Fort Lauderdale area, it's about like 6 million people. So if the more options that people have to travel to Belize, the better. From the perspective of the Belize tourism industry, I'd see it as a major win. And it says, like I mentioned earlier, it says a lot about the policy payoff that the BTB is working along with these individuals, these airline executives, to make sure that this happens. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. So overall, I'd say, like, yeah, kudos to them for making sure that this happens and that they keep pressing on this issue.
Air Canada also recently announced a new direct non-stop flight between Belize and Montreal, Canada. The new route will commence on December 8th and will be seasonal and once weekly, departing Montreal on Mondays and returning on Tuesdays. Gonzalez spoke more on the significance of tapping into this new market.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. As you may know, I'm based out of Toronto, and I'm always happy when you can get a direct flight to Belize from Toronto. And I'm sure, like, I actually wish it was not just seasonal and I could go any time of the year. But yeah, a direct flight from Montreal to Toronto is also a really positive development. In Quebec, where Montreal is based, is the main city. Is the second largest province in all of Canada. It has about 9 million people. So it's a big deal, a big market. And just within the greater Montreal area, there is about 4 million people living. So again, you could tap into that large market. I'm really excited about that. And the other really great news about this development is that the flight is once a week. And I know some people might consider this as a negative because they say, oh, it would be better if there are multiple flights a week. But one spin to this would be that, okay, so if someone flies to Belize on a Monday and the only way for them to return is a Tuesday, next week Tuesday, then that means that they get to spend 7 days in Belize. that's 7 days of exploring the entire country, of going to different places and spending their money in Belize. So overall, this is a very positive thing because it means that people will be staying longer in Belize, and actually overnight tourism, as you know, is has a greater impact in the industry than any other type of travel. I'd say one thing that I encourage individuals in Belize to consider, people involved in the tourism industry, is that they need to understand that travelers from Montreal primarily speak French. Yes, they can often speak English also, but this is an important development to understand that these people, yes, they're from Canada, but they also speak French. So maybe adapt to that. I don't know exactly what that may look like, but I would say perhaps like make sure that you have your marketing material that also targets French people. Make sure your menus might be available to be like, in French too. And your website, like if you have a travel website, make sure that it can be translated to French easily so that you can tap into that market.
Gonzalez said he would love to see a direct air link between Belize and Vancouver in Western Canada.
Another thing that I would add in terms of like increasing demand for tourism from Canada, I would encourage the BTB to look into tapping into the market in Vancouver, so British Columbia, which is the third largest province in Canada. So that would make sure that there's like from the three across Canada, like people are able to easily visit Belize. And as based on, and like there's evidence on this, that a lot of people from British Columbia, from like Vancouver area, love visiting Belize, and it would be great if they had a direct flight instead of having to go through Calgary, Alberta, or through Toronto, or to get to Belize.
Davia Richardson, the 17-year-old Belizean aquatic star, recently competed at the World Aquatics Championship in Singapore. Davia won 2 of her heats at the championships. Davia was born in the US but said that she competes under the Belizean flag in honor of her late father. She also spoke about her recent competition and about the necessary training.
Yeah, so I was born here. I've lived here my whole life, but my dad was Belizean, and my dad recently passed away in 2021, and it came to us in late 2022, early 2023 to start this federation in honor of my dad, for me to represent his country and a lot of my family, and because everyone on my dad's side is from Belize. So knowing that I'm swimming for him and also my dad's side of the family, it really means a lot. So I have won a heat before at the previous World Aquatic Championships in Hungary. I won one of my heats, and when I won my first heat in the 100 butterfly, when I watched it back, I was behind, and then when I did catch up, and then I won. It wasn't even about winning the heat per se as to why I was so shocked. It was about dropping time. I improved my best by a significant amount, and that's what really surprised me. Even though I have been working so hard, a drop like that can still kind of shock a person. Even though you've been working so hard, it's just really great to know that your hard work is it's paying off. Definitely, since this is long course championships, I don't practice long course as often, so that means I kind of have to do extra yardage in my short course yards pool to get ready for this kind of meet, and try my best to get practices in a long course pool in nearby, because there's not many near where I live, but there are a few. It's just not too close, but we try our best to get in long course practices, and if not, the extra yardage is definitely really helpful.
Belizeans had been following her recent competition from afar and sending their support. Davia said knowing Belizeans were supporting her meet meant a lot. She spoke about aquatics growing in Belize and offered words of encouragement to young Belizean athletes.
That's really great to hear, to know that I have support of the country and not just my support system like my mom, my coaches. And it's really nice to hear that that the country like knows who I am and what I've been doing and what I've been working towards. That makes me feel really good, actually. I remember reading about it on the news saying that they're trying to build a pool, and because of my hard work that I've been doing since I was really young, since the age of 4 or 5, and all my hard work is paying off and is showing off on the big stage, and knowing that that's starting to turn into building a pool in the country is really nice, and I would love to come down there and see the pool and definitely practice there. So there's this famous quote, well, for me at least, my dad would say it a lot. He would say, do what you can and not what you can. So it kind of just means to try your best and do what you can with what you're given, because even though I do have the resources to facilities, I don't have everything, like compared to, for example, like Team USA or all those big countries. So I do what I can with what I'm given. And as long as you have the motivation and the drive, which is what I've had for my whole life, then you can really do anything with that.
Marella Richardson is Davia's mom, and she has been instrumental in helping Davia to succeed. Marella spoke about the important role parents play in developing young athletes and said she is dedicated to helping the sport succeed in Belize.
Parents is the backbone of any sports that the child is involved in, because without the parents, there is not a child. The parent is there to monitor, support, and all the work behind the scene that produce the glory at the end. But parent involvement is very crucial, because without the parents, there is no child and there is no sports going on. I'm really happy for her, because I'm a track person and she's a swimmer, and if you would ask me, I thought she was going to be a runner, and she chose swimming as her sport of liking, and I just have to support her 100%, because that's what she wants to do, and I'm very excited and that her hard work is paying off, because it's not an easy task. It's a challenge, both financially and also discipline-wise, and commitment for her to practice at least 14 times a week, sometimes doubles, and at the same time, she has to maintain her academics and everything else that comes with it. So I really applaud her for what she's doing. At teenager years, you know, that they want to have social life and all this stuff, but she really locks into what she's doing, because she's well vested and she sees the amount that I'm putting out, and she's trying to just make sure that the hard work that we are putting out, she's giving out the same. The sports can grow in Belize if we have the people behind it and who supports what's going on. And we only have one swim at the moment. What we can do is build on it. It's going to take a lot of work, but I am here to say that I will do whatever I can to grow the sports in Belize, because a child just needs a chance, and you have to give them an opportunity to grow and to find themselves, and that's what I'm here for. It's not just about her alone. It's about we building on what we have.
Closing ceremony was held in Belmopan on Tuesday for a project that started in 2021, which focused on tracking the movement of jaguars. The project, entitled, quote, Enhancing Jaguar Corridors and Strongholds Through Improved Management and Threat Reduction, end quote, focused on development of farm plans for smallholders in Toledo, hunting surveys, and expanded camera traps to monitor wildlife activity. These activities were guided by an indigenous peoples plan, and the process was documented via a systemization report. Honorable Orlando Habet, the Minister of Sustainable Development, spoke more on the project and what data was gathered.
Well, certainly this Jaguar project started off in 2021, now ending up in August 25. Very important, because we were looking at how we can see what interactions there are with the jaguar and wildlife, the interactions between jaguars and humans, and looking at how we could track the jaguar from one corridor to the next. And we already know we have the northern, the northeastern, the central, the southern corridors, and see how these animals move within those corridors. Also looking at the equipment that would have to be used to be able to do the actual tracking, because it was important to use the best technology that is available, and we saw the implementation of these modern and very useful cameras, the use of telemetry, which would be able to pick up data from a distance and be able to report it back. So that was very important, and also to see how there would be this collaboration and partnership amongst the different players. So we had not only the forest department taking the leadership here, but also looking at how we collaborated with and had the partnership with CSFI and Shared Conservation Trust. And I think that in the end what the report showed us was that yes, when we have conservation, when we establish these corridors, we can have some protection of the wildlife, but also we can track their movement, where they go. The dynamics are so that I think that we have learned a lot. The report was very comprehensive in all the objectives, the deliverables, and I think that now what we have to do is, as I mentioned earlier, is to see the gaps that still remain, and how we can now get funding for a second phase, which is going to be very important.
Wildlife traverse areas that are developed or that are intersected by roads. Honorable Habet said that planning ahead is needed to ensure that new developments are respectful of wildlife.
I think that we have to plan ahead. Certainly when we get these large infrastructure projects, we don't maybe sit down with all the key players to see what will be the events that will affect or have some effect in later stages. When the coastal road was being constructed, we had to approach the contractors to see if those culverts that they were putting were large enough to allow wildlife to move from one end of the road to the other. And so we got together with some of the conservation agencies, the people from TNC and the other wildlife conservations, and MIDH also participated, because they said, well, listen, we understand what's happening. We want to see them cross safely, but the project didn't entail to putting in these large culverts or additional bridges. So there was some type of arrangement that was made, a compromise, so that it wasn't as big as we wanted, but not as small as was planned. So I think planning is very, very important. But the movement of wildlife from one end of the road to the other is very important, because we have seen what has happened in the south, right on the Hummingbird, how jaguars are being killed by road traffic accidents.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has begun to track non-traditional chronic kidney disease. This type of chronic kidney disease does not stem from typical causes such as diabetes and hypertension or high blood pressure. The non-traditional type is often associated with occupational and environmental exposures. Emir Castaneda, the health educator at the Corozal Community Hospital, explained more on the causes and prevention.
Recently, we started creating awareness on chronic kidney disease, non-traditional. And this is a new emerging disease in the Central American region, I must say. And this is the risk factors is not diabetes and hypertension anymore, but it has to do with the hard workers, the construction workers, the cane farmers who are under the heat for prolonged time and working hard, and maybe that they are dehydrated because, you know, they want to earn their living, so they're working long hours and sometimes they don't rest. So these are the factors that if they continue to work like this, it will lead to chronic kidney disease of non-traditional origin. So we're at this moment with this heat, as you mentioned, we're asking these workers, construction workers out there. I know we have a lot of them in the Keys, our cane farmers, our fishermen, you know, all these people who are working under heat to please take time to take breaks under the shade, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, avoid drinking sugary products. All right, because sometimes when we take a break, we want to take something, a sugary product, and that's not the way to go. Try to drink water, exclusively water, and that will make us healthy with break and under the shade.
At the end of the news brief for this morning, immediately following WB Wake Up Morning Vibes, from 9 to 12:30, you have mornings too. At 12:30, it's a full news package on Creme Radio. At 3 o'clock, there's a news brief. At 5:15, there's a full news package. Here at XTV, at 6 o'clock, they have one full news package. Of course, just stay tuned for other XTV programming. You could always go to XTV Belize YouTube and XTV Belize Facebook. We're going to take one quick break, come back, open the phone line so we can reason.
Informative, accurate, current information. Crem's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this morning, Wednesday, August 6th. Sorry about the long break. I'm going to drink my tea. Thanks, Kim from Kim Grab and Go on Mahogany Street to send me tea early for me this morning. That's why I love community, especially when they feed me. Kim was our chief cook for African People's Emancipation Day Community Actions. Today, that day 6 for United Black Association for Development Educational Foundation, UEF, we have our next campaign. This one, that for the state changed the name of August 1st from Emancipation Day to African People's Emancipation Day, so that everybody know who get emancipated. Similarly to how for October 12th, then changed Columbus Day from Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Resistance Day. They not only name the people, they say how the people resist. So in a for we case, they are name we, and then that we got, and when we say we get emancipated, it's from chattel enslavement, which is another reason why I think it's important that we name our ancestresses and ancestors, because prior to the legal end to chattel enslavement, and chattel mean property, every time we hear that primarily European people saw African people as chattel, it means they never seen it as human being. Make that sink in. They never seen it as human being. So they could do whatever they want with them because they're not real people, according to some majority of European people. And they're never only European people who were enslavers. You had mixed people, and in the context it would primarily be European African heritage. So in UEF advocating for the August 1st holiday be changed to African People's Emancipation Day, with the honor with African ancestresses and ancestors for say they're human beings. They've always been, and they may know that. Morning, thanks for call. Talk to me.
Yes, Mom. I have a real serious concern. That just say, I was watching news last night, and when Minister Habet get and say how he gives this concession for the lumber thing. I mean, this stuff we watershed you to talk about. You get so many warnings. We go through global warning. The heights are the heat where we have the intensity and everything. And you want go make your people they come in for go cut lumber for make one little bit of money for what reason? Yeah, you say how the African they never used to think about we like people. They not think about we like people either. They not think about for we children, and for we grandchildren, and for we great grandchildren. You why touch this stuff for we watershed for heaven's sake. Like, for real?
Sis, I really appreciate you calling in and being very clear about your position. This particular administration, they made terrible the first time and worse right now from the perspective that they don't want to hear what we got to say. They want to do what they ain't got to do.
But then, YaYa, as something as important, watch how much different countries, they have problem with water. Watch out down the, for we one country down the PG, how much acres we get burned out. Then there are areas where that's for the wildlife. No, this that's for we wildlife and for we life. They're not worry about it because they could go and then could buy for them whatever, they could dig their well or whatever. All the communities with alliance and that whole water built the source, right? That they will feel the pressure along with we down the road. Why would you destroy something that you can't freaking put back? It don't matter how you twist it or turn it to build furniture, brother. And I call upon Mr. Curdell Hyde. You need to stand up for your people because this is the bullshit. This that will water that will water the life.
Sis?
Everybody.
Sis, you can't use profanity, but you could say anything else you want to say. Go ahead.
Sorry about that.
I know
but
you get
what I
passionate.
am saying, right? Then people not even really think about the effect where you have. You get one whole report where you choose to stick your chest out and cock your nose up in the air and pat your chest and beat your chest and you say, we want to do what we want. That we put on there. And Belizean people sit down and take everything for so long. The unions, they need to stand up for this too. I know that there is other different issues that we're not to deal with. But this is one major issue. Belmo Pansy, how they feel when they never got water for so long. Huh? Just imagine when tiny rains they start and all of the sucking the roots and things they from their tree, they start to wash down. What will happen? Huh? You create one erosion. You see what happened at the States why they had such big floods that was a part of it? That's what they say, thing the deforestation and the rains. No, you want voluntarily give their people one sucking contract to go and cut off we pristine trees there. Huh? They don't got sense.
Sis,
that sense they don't got.
Make I ask you, you in a tourism or you live in our community nearby? What make you so invested? I appreciate the call. I am wowed by your amount of knowledge, how to express yourself. What make you so connected to this particular community concern?
Miss, because I made those so research for so long up in that area. And this event happened all through Coastal Road. That's a part of we watershed. It trickle right down. Then they have sacred areas. They gonna give them a whole lot of land through the south and things. Then they complain about how the highway, the coastal road stay and how it flood and this. There is much more to come because on a full well no, on not forgive their piece of friggin' land. Sorry, miss, on not forgive their piece of land because everything is attached. There is so much other land out there in different places, but you want to pick for we watershed of all the places. Mr. Colonel, please, I beg you, try to get up and do something, set something. How these people could just make these decisions, but not continuously doing it over and over again. But this is something else. This is for we water line. This is for we lifeline. You need water for everything.
Make I ask you, sis. You're the right point, but make I ask you, what do you think the community could do? Because it's clear, based on the system that believes, most politicians loyal to their party. They're not loyal to the people. This is based on actions. What do you think the Belizean people could do? Because only the people want to save the people. We could appeal all we want to political leadership. They want to do what they think best based on what cabinet say. What are your solutions? What you suggest we do?
I beg for people up by Mountain Pine Ridge, up the Cayo, along this, whoever could come out and stand together and go out there and make this stop this. Now, so many acres get burned out down the PG and things. All of them birds and things and their wildlife, then they try to run to find shelter. Well, a lot of the things, they birds and different species and so, we could travel far distances. End up, them birds, they fly out and thing and try to do something. No, going to start to cut down another area. How many things have to be extinct?
Make I ask you this, sis. You not willing to lead the process?
Yeah. That for my children and my grandchildren. Because when you used to go up that floor, the camp, up the Mountain Pine Ridge and experience that beautiful ambience so they don't want to have it in a while. When the rains they come down and start to beat their land. Huh? That's our whole system what God created for we. But we, when a man feel like we could do anything where we want. You can't build back a watershed. It with so intricate details like that. Everything was there for a reason. But I want to destroy everything. But leave it as thinking our money all up for real.
Make I give you my phone number so we can meet and reason, sis. I think I heard some time ago that the watersheds are described as the lungs of the earth.
Exactly
and
my
so
point.
I don't know enough. I need to learn more. And if anybody know more,
I need to learn more myself. I just talk that way. I say where I know, you know, but then there is a report from the forestry department where they explain to Ono in a detail. But under that, I'm not worried about global warming and all of this. Men Ono need to stop tell stupid lies and believe it. Because not only we Ono the damage, that everybody, for we children, for we grandchildren, for we great-grandchildren, that everybody want to get it. Huh? So I don't mean no one we got nothing.
Make I give me number, sis, and then you link me. It's 671-8050. 671-8050. It help them to just reason together, even if they want to study group to find out more and see what solutions. Only the people want to save the people.
Yeah, the next thing is, right? The parties, the whole, they do their thing. And the way how this world set up, everybody is just so into social media. Then they're into their phone that they don't even notice the things that were they're supposed to be noticing. Who are for we guardians? Who are the one that will look out for we like that? We don't got no more George Spears that don't retire. Huh? We don't got who they for stand up for the rights of people. Huh? Who is there? What are we teaching our youth? What they want to protect? Huh?
Valid questions, sis. Valid questions.
We don't teach them nothing of value and that they want to be the leaders of we country when we can't even fucking give one decent. You can't even talk to your people and you want to do, you to spin wrong and you to take off because then they try to ask you a few questions like you to play basketball, brother. That we put you there, you know. And not forget it every single day. And this is not a matter of political nothing. This is the life we talk about. Huh? What the hell we supposed to do when we don't got no water? Because I don't feel like for all of cronies that go and I can do what they want. I don't give them the permission. We don't give them. We don't give them none at all. We put on it to try to protect it. You say what you're stacking. You say that what that your title. When you have Mr. Habet, you need to watch that good and stacking process that and print that in your stacking brain and click save. We're going to play a dangerous frigging game. Excuse me for my language. But when you be enough, huh? For a little bit of money, just imagine how you want to fix that back. You can't fix that back. That God put that there, God weave that. Huh? And it worked so good for so long. But now I call it the strike. Huh? What get on the right? Or should be ashamed on yourself. Mr. Yaya, please give me your number again. Listen, enough is enough.
671
That's the run boat.
671 8050.
What do you want to have?
You have it?
What do you want to have? No, man.
You get this, sis?
I don't hear you.
671 8050. 671 8050. Text me and then text me your name on WhatsApp.
Will do.
One love, sis. Big respect.
Good morning.
One love. And the kind of calls where I really have great appreciation for, especially Karawan sister, Ruth sister, have enough knowledge for know that this is a serious violation of the natural environment and the impact it can have for we lives in a bad way. I need to learn more about it. So big respect to the call. If anybody know more, give me a call at 280-5848 and give the different positions. If you agree with it, support it, need more information, question it, give me a call, 280-5848. At 7:30 we have 2 cents scam, and which will be 9 minutes, and then we have one guest. So this morning, I don't know if you're not calling, you have this campaign right now, wanting the state to change the name of the holiday on August 1st from Emancipation Day to African People's Emancipation Day. So I don't know once you're not calling, and get Black history reasoning. And I don't know how much people, I know when I might hear people talk about a history of Belize in 13 chapters by Asha Showman. When we talk about Black people, Black people for me that identifiably African people racialized as Black people, and Black with an uppercase B, because they're one group of people with the top, but I know adjective like describing the Black Pame t-shirt this morning. Oftentimes we don't know enough about ourselves as Black people that believes from within formal miseducation. No, what a thing there. And then this morning I find, and I thought it was worth talking about, they were talking about the Garifuna people, and I marked the thing, I know I can't find it. And I need to find it because I really want to share it with you and I have limited time. This is not good. But in the top bowl, there you go, I find it. So I don't know how much time I want to go for run this over quickly. But oftentimes we know hear their perspective about Garifuna people. And I was hesitant to talk about it because I don't identify as a Garifuna person. Yet, I'm like, yeah, that's very colonial. With the African people racialized as Black people, of course you could talk about Garifuna people stories. So up on page 56 it say, the first report of the presence of the Belize Garifuna people, who at the time we know as Caribs or Black Caribs, occurred in 1802. They had a larger group will get deported by the British from the Caribbean island of St. Vincent to Roatan off the coast of Honduras in 1797. Then they spread along the Caribbean coast, Central America, Stan Creek, Belize, in the north, Pearl Lagoon, Nicaragua in the south, the majority residing along the Honduran coast. For the most part, we know that. It's in the 17th century, many Africans landed at the island of St. Vincent. Here how, when you look upon Garifuna people, the Garifuna people of Belize not lead with their blackness, they lead with their indigenousness. The Garifuna people of Honduras lead for their blackness. The name of their organization in English that a Black Fraternal Organization of Honduras, or OFRANE. They had a distinct difference between Garifuna Honduras and Garifuna Belize. So, but listen to how, and I think if Garifuna people never look Black, like you could look upon it and they carry on for the Africanness, I don't know about that. And I don't know about them not choosing to lead with their blackness. But this is how part of their blackness come from. It's saying that in the 17th century, many Africans landed at the island of St. Vincent. Some were shipwrecked, some were escaped enslaved people, and others were taken prisoner by indigenous people who were called Kalinago, but who became widely known through the European colonizers as Caribs. Now, this is new for me. We hear about the shipwreck part. I hear about some enslaved Africans from surrounding islands escaping from the islands and going to St. Vincent. But I never hear about Kalinago people enslaving African people. So when you hear Garifuna people with the narrative we were never enslaved, morning, talk to it.
Hi, good morning, YaYa.
Tell me, brother, I got... Huh?
Yeah, can you hear me clearly?
Say that again.
Yeah, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you, brother. I can hear you.
All right, perfect. On the road, so forgive me for that. And YaYa, I just wanted to quickly pick up where that sister left off. I was perusing the news last night, and I heard the minister said that that thousands of people visit the Rion pools and the waterfalls and the general area for swimming in the Pine Ridge area on a weekly basis. And he said that as part of the concession that they are now giving to these logging companies will now be able to engage in tourism, meaning that they will be able to now charge for people to access these areas. Now currently the people who would visit these areas currently do not pay. And of course he would have said that they leave a lot of styrofoams and garbage behind their cans and all of that. But I'm here thinking that if it is that there is potential for revenue generation and for beautification of those watersheds, then why doesn't the government create employment by enhancing the areas? We don't need the forestry department to do that. We need the government to create a unit that oversee these watersheds, and if it is that they want to charge $1 or $2 to be able to ensure that the place remain clean and sustainable. But when you privatize, quote unquote privatize, because now if I get the concession to be in the area, I could quote unquote privatize access to the area, and will not be sustainable or affordable, for those who are currently utilizing it. And so to me, it's taking free natural resources that should be readily accessible and freely accessible by citizens to again enrich your family and your friends, because we all know that it's families involved in some of these concessions. And so I think it's really concerning when these guys are taking these type of decisions which directly impact us and our way of life in terms of accessibility. And really and truly, I always tell you this, I don't know what's wrong with the Belizean people. Yes, we wait for that organic fire to stir up within them to stand up and really, but man, we are really the wretched of the earth right now, sister, because a lot of these decisions will impact us, will impact our children. I know my children are regular visitors to that area with their church group and so on, and so it really kind of concerning when I see these guys making these type of decisions. I'm like nobody seems to be paying attention or concerned until when it's too late that we can't access these recreational areas.
I have another 2 minutes, Dean. We have the president of the Public Service Union, Dean Flowers. What could have been a solution? Then don't make the decision. What we could do now? What you suggest?
Yeah, well, my thing is, I think I already made a suggestion that perhaps it would have been more prudent for the government to create another unit under the Ministry of Sustainable Development to manage those areas. Using the minister words, thousands of Belizeans visit these areas on a weekly basis. And this does not, of course, include the tourists who probably go there. So here is an opportunity for revenues to be injected into the government coffers, that into the minister, family, and friends' pocket. That's the solution.
All right, I tell the sister, somebody else just texted me yesterday, I agree with the first caller. I think it's important that we meet and listen to each other and reason and come up with some practical solutions where would include the community at large. So I'll meet with the sister, I'll follow up with you and say, the house don't come out of the gate already, but we could see what we could do about it still.
All right, my sister.
Respect, brother. Thanks. It's 7:30, 2 cents come time, brought to us by Fort Point Security.
What you think about it, man? I think they need they need to wait for traffic most of the time.
Not really, I don't think so.
All right, that's your 2 cents.
Yes, thank you so much.
They always speed and they not traffic way.
Yeah.
That's your 2 cents.
Yeah, But I don't really see where the going there and to be real, so I really can't make a comment on that. Because they're out in the south, I think Czechs don't really know where they're going. So somebody laugh when they get me about that.
Okay, you know about?
No, I'm not really about. If I'm about, then I give you.
Yeah, you too, say.
Yeah. Yes,
you think they know a problem to the traffic? You run man when do delivery?
No. They're good.
All right.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m. en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Sir, your item is ready for viewing.
Is that all?
This is everything.
Belize introduced its new electronic passport in 2022 through the launch of the Electronic Passport Issuance and Control System, EPICS. The e-passport includes an electronic chip that safeguards the holder's personal information and photograph. It also features a verification mechanism compatible with biometric systems such as smart gates at international borders. The passport's design reflects national pride, showcasing Belizean landmarks and symbols. It incorporates 26 modern security elements to prevent fraud and corruption. The introduction of the e-passport aims to enhance security, improve processing efficiency, and reduce application backlogs, benefiting Belizeans both domestically and abroad. The Ministry of Immigration, strengthening national sovereignty, security, and socio-economic development.
Welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We have a guest via Zoom. But that was something where I never imagined I'm going to talk to him about. Brother George Marin, come in. Another here, you put your mic on, please.
Hold on.
I hear you now. How the morning?
It's a great morning, you know. Every time I wake up, I give thanks. I want to say good morning to Belize, to the world. Everything global. Anytime I touch that button, it's gone global. So it's great to be alive. YaYa.
Give thanks.
The topic this morning is?
The topic this morning is, I can't believe I have this conversation with you. When I think of you, I think of the marine sciences. I think of you as consultant for the Belize Federation of Fishers. The organization I represent, which it's about consciousness raising for the liberation of African people, racialized as Black people in Belize and globally. Part of the work where we do the environmental justice work, and so we partner with Belize Federation of Fishers. We have an ongoing monthly, we have to get two this month because we missed one last month, the Belize Federation of Fishers, the Belize Blue Bond Community Awareness monthly Zoom session, the UEF and BFF. That's how I know George. So imagine my surprise when I see George write real good about African Emancipation Day on Facebook, and then he had to put icing on the cake. That never enough for him. Now he write one poem inspired by the work where I lead on behalf of people. Remember, the first African Emancipation Day in 2014 was led or organized. It was the conception of Virginia Eccles, an African American sister who worked with UBAD Educational Foundation for many, many years. And then it was her thought, it was her organizing, and then I come from behind, I put my fire upon it, and then I became known as the face and voice, but on a collective process, and we have to give thanks and praises to all the people who come before we. I remember UAP, never the first set of Belizeans would do this. In 1888, 50 years after the legal ending of physical chattel enslavement of African people, Simon Lamb and a group of working class people, included women, gone to the governor and say, today the August 1st, and we represent the colored people of this country. So then I'm the first one in 1888, and then UAF come along in 2014. So George, how does get on your radar? I am respect George. I am pleased, surprise. Tell me how this get on your radar. And what it get on your radar till it inspire for right.
Two things, right? Two things. It's a kind of secret that I write poems. I have 300 pages of poems that I have written, and at some point I've threatened to publish. That's the first thing. The second thing is African Liberation Day, Emancipation Day. I was viewing the proceedings at Memorial Park, and I was trying to see if you were in the audience.
Hell no!
But I didn't see you. Maybe you were there. They mentioned a lot of people in relation to Emancipation Day, but they did not mention, as far as I know, they did not mention YaYa. And I said, like, really, as far as I am concerned, YaYa does her campaigns. And sometimes it's YaYa alone, sometimes who want to come along. But YaYa does what she does. She believes, she is committed, and she affects change. And I know all change good, but as far as I am concerned, all the changes that YaYa has dealt with has been good. It has been glorious. So if I had to name Emancipation Day, it would be, well, you say you're looking to change it, African Emancipation Day, a force of one. There would have been other people, but as far as I am concerned, YaYa, you have done a your woman's job in terms of pushing the narrative and in terms of affecting change. One, two, YaYa, something has popped up here.
No, go ahead. The XTV to show your poem.
That's the poem. I have to confess that when I write poems, I don't know how to. Yeah, you can ask me for the recite one poem of script. I have to be reading the script.
No problem.
Yeah. So you know, I give praises where praises is due. I believe that really. I had an encounter recently, YaYa, and I don't know. It was with a lady who I knew, kind of casually, and for some reason she said, "You black," and then she said, "Sorry," and I'm saying, "But you shouldn't be sorry, because when you say I'm black, you know what you to do? You to bless me. So if you feel offended, maybe that's something in your conscience, because I have always felt that I belong to the original peoples on this planet, and that is, in and of itself, is a badge of honor. YaYa, among other things, I wear many hats. I'm the vice president of the Belize Bodybuilding Federation, and in bodybuilding, what you do is you stress the muscle, and when you stress the muscle becomes more resilient, it becomes stronger, it takes on a certain shape. So I'll segue into what has happened to our history as a people. You know, we have been abused throughout history for whatever reason. We are not the only ones, but when you talk to the Jews, first thing you hear about the 6 million dead in World War II, Hitler. Well, I don't know that, let me put this delicately. I don't think that we as a people have been very, very effective in terms of saying, well, actually, the more than, if you look at the transatlantic slave trade in and of itself, God knows how many people died crossing the deep, wide ocean. One. Two, slavery in and of itself, especially in today's parlance, to put it gently, is a crime against humanity. What has happened, among other things, is the white power structure, especially in terms of slavery, has basically said, but these people that are dark complexion, that we uprooted from Africa, you know, they are not really human beings. YaYa, as a scientist, science caught up with the false narrative. And when we got down to the whole issue of cell structure, and we went into the nucleus, and we counted chromosomes, what makes me and you, and what make me, you, and my Uncle Donald Trump humans is because we all have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes. And so there is no denial. It's not only that we are humans just like them, but we are the original humans. And as I said, we have been stress tested. You got a doctor for your annual checkup and they tell you jump on a treadmill. When you come off, they blow. And sometimes the doctor can tell you whether or not the status of your health. For us as a people, we have been resilient, we have been robust, and we have been champions, YaYa. There's no doubt in my mind, YaYa. And you know why we're special? When you look at it genetically, YaYa, when people say Africa, a lot of people think it's one country, but don't get me on the arithmetic here, but I believe that there's over 30 countries
54.
in Africa.
It's a continent 54. With 54 countries.
There you go, 54 countries. Africa is a continent with the greatest diversity. Why is this so, YaYa? As the original people, we have been on this planet the longest. And when you're on this planet the longest, there is the greatest exchange of genetic material. And so you will find, YaYa, that the tallest people on this planet are the Africans. You'll find out that the shortest people on this planet are the Africans. You'll find out that the smartest people on this planet, and no apologies here, are the Africans. If you doubt me, Google a brother named Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a scientist like myself. We are the superlatives on this planet, YaYa. And so from me, if you're looking for some apology based on my blackness, it's not going to happen.
What did woman me look like? What's that?
Well, she was Hispanic.
Okay, because because of the psychological trauma, black people have internalized it. So black people, identifiable black people, different shade of melanin, would I look for another person with darker skin and say, you black. So when you hear black people tell somebody else you black, they're usually because the person who didn't tell black, darker than they have more melanin. But Mecca just put it in a context, and I did it on Monday. The year 2025, they're on Gregorian calendar. So the Christians then look upon when Jesus born and come forward. There were lives, millions of people lived before then. So at minimum, on average, we look upon over 6,000 years, minimum, of African people, first people from planet Earth. And who usually get on blind before Europe, the brother Ako Motota say, whether the co-host or Sunday Review, the Atlantic Ocean never enslaved nobody. So a part of decolonization is calling things appropriately. So majority European people enslaved African people from the continent of Africa for about 400 years. The harm not done yet, because you know, say African people still suffer. So the harm continues with colonialism, imperialism, neocolonialism. But before the European, and this is who get it blind, they had the Islamic enslaved trade will last over 1,300 years. You hear how long the Arabs they enslave African people, but you don't hear about the Arabs then. So I just want to put it in a context how much African people, nobody suffer. And I know nobody suffer, nobody pay the cost like African people, nobody. And so I really appreciate you taking it from the personal, because the personal is political. I said to the woman, like, You to compliment me, you to give me a blessing for say you black. But I want make you tell her that, George.
We were having a conversation again about colorism, because I know about race. That's a you know, and I was relating to her that one of my colleagues, and you know, Belize people, it's coming across across our country. Nobody wants to be African. So why, you know, certain people come, yeah, they're not African. But when you say you're black, we look for shades. And I was making the point to her that you shouldn't confuse colorism with blackness. One of the actually fields of us black people is that we look at our own and say, you know, black. Well, I'll give you a short story, a 10-second story. This person that I knew basically went west for Easter, and he never see himself as black. They went to a Maya Mountain Lodge, and I call the lodge name Nakayo. You know, got to meet up from Canada, from Georgeville, as the world should know by now.
George from Georgeville?
It just don't say it. When this couple got into the pool, yeah, the swimming pool, apparently Guatemalans of the Castilian race, the Germanic people from Guatemala look like they like Cayo for Easter. When this couple got into the pool, the Germanic people and the Castilian people demitted the pool. They ran out of the pool. That's how bad it get. But nobody talk about anything. Nobody. If you're not talk about it, that means it never happened. But for me, as somebody with a restless mind, I am like, well, really, when you look at where we are now in terms of consciousness, I believe that us black people in the West, in Belize, in the United States, etc., the West Indies, we have taken a step back. And in Belize, like me personally, in Belize, when you look at 1950s and 1960s, black people like me and you, melanized people, we were the majority in this country. And that has shifted, and it has shifted for various reasons. One of the main reasons is the mass migration to the United States. They say that in nature there's no vacuum. And so as the darker complexion people, just about everybody left, the country became Latinized largely by in-migration from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala. All right? And so now people that were not, they may have been whispering in their closet about racism and blackness, those people are out now basically expressing what they felt internally. You see this in the United States also, where the racists have come out of the closet. When you talk about racism, people say, hey, that Trump, it's not Trump, it's his enablers. It's 70 million people going to vote for the man. And that is not specific to the United States, it's across the board. And I am saying, well, we know what the problem is. And for whatever reason, in the 60s and 70s, and I always say this about Evan Hyde and Rufus X and a number of other people, when you looked at the 60s and the 70s, it was a time of great consciousness. Nobody never looked better than black people with a big afro and then bell foot, and everybody was kindling and everybody was peace. You know, you knew the people who went away because they came back with a different perspective sometimes, but they always dressed well, they spoke well. Who went to the United States came back a certain way, and who went to the West Indies, the common thing that they had was an afro, and the common thing that, well, at least the people from the West Indies has was a bush jacket. You know, slavery in the West Indies was a mite different from the United States, but it was a time of black consciousness. It was a time of real liberation. Emancipation and liberation are two different things. Emancipation, as I see it, is official done basically saying, you know what, institutionally, there shall be no more captive labor. Liberation comes from the mind. Remember where YaYa now. Remember where Muta Baruka say back in 1983, sister. I was in Jamaica doing a first degree. I went to a place called Hellshire Bay, just outside of Kingston. And that's the first time that I saw Muta Baruka. She was in concert with Judy Moat, Marcia Griffith, and a number of other people. And this poem that he said, and I believe he said it in Belize maybe a year or two ago, where they took the chain off your feet and they put it on your brain. Yeah, the work of emancipation is dynamic. It continues because until and unless you liberate the minds of our people for them to understand, you are blessed, you are strong, you are special. There will be no forward motion for us as a people.
I agree with you, George. And one big part of the conversation is that we need to study together. I did look, sometimes I bring the, I don't know where I want to talk about that up here, but I did look for particular statistics, I think from the 1800s. And then do it like, let's say, I could be wrong with the dates, right? But I'll look on it. So let's say then look upon like 1851, 1861, 1871, 1800s. And it tell you the population of the country of Belize at the time. And then they broke down for you what part the people were made dead at Belize in the 1800s, what part them born. And from the 1800s, the majority of the people who made dead at Belize at that time, that me from cross the border. So one of the concerns I have is that when we talk about Belize, and that's why I don't agree with that statue in a battlefield park, because no Belizean never tell nobody that they want George Price statue there. George Price could never be the father of this nation, because the nation never started in the 1940s. If you want to tell the truth, go to the beginning. If any statue for in a battlefield park, it will be an African people. Respect is due. The Maya them in this region over 3,000 years before the Europeans then come. But Belize town, Belize city itself, no Maya people never depend. This a piece of land. So the African people, racialized as black people, build this. But this administration in particular, based on their history, are anti-black people. And I'm starting to look at things through an anti-blackness lens. Anything but black. So I know, and there are no state event when it comes to African People Emancipation Day. It was the state that enslaved our people. I know they have the position, the state, that they have the legal mandate because people vote for them. The Constitution, the one enslaved document. The people of Belize never decide that. So that's why we have, and people throughout the Caribbean have the kind of separation we have. Because that the outer the enslaver, colonizer mind, and they want us to just rubber stamp it. So how could I dishonor our African ancestresses and ancestors and go mingle up with the people that were enslaved there? How, Brother George? That's why I really have great value for the people of Belize. From 2014, that the people of Belize support African People Emancipation Day. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 28 years later, the state decided they want to make it on public and bank holiday, I feel, for political reasons. And that's what co-option is. Then here come, and that's why, to tell you how deeply enslaved our people are, when the state make it on public and bank holiday, they had representatives who had the decency for approach me and say, yeah, I want to work with you. And I said, listen, I don't want to work with you because I don't trust you, but I'm giving you and blind. Before we even done the organizing, then betray away, I don't want nothing to do with it after that. I do apply for money for the cultural fund because I have a right on behalf of the people, because for we taxpayers' money. But then the state may need on blackface. And the organization where the second one in the country no have no trust and work with them. So any blackface one do. So the next group agree for be the blackface and continue agree for be the blackface. You see the problem, Brother George?
Well.
And I said things publicly. It's hard for us because the black people. But we have to be honest to have the hard conversations and correct it. So how, once black people show me that I don't trust you, you can't think so, you can invite me anyway, I want to come anyway, I don't trust you. You show me that I don't trust you. George, one moment, George. We're going to take this call, then we're going to break and come back. Morning, quick call, kind of break time. Go ahead.
Powerful. Watch out, Naya. Good morning, bro. Morning.
Morning.
Love the conversation, man. I tell you, I'm proud of my blackness. You know why I feel so good? You're held with, as I'm black people, you're supposed to be proud of the color where you are. Who you know? We are the true people of the Bible. We are the real Israelis. We are the real Jews. You understand me? So honestly, I love the conversation, and I wish we could have we could have sit down together and just vibes up and learn more.
Respect.
You understand me? Because right now people, slavery done, boy. It's still, people still enslaved.
It's not done, brother. We mentally enslaved.
Yep, mentally enslaved. Yep, it's still happening.
It's not done.
Sometimes people tell us straight, why? If you're a young girl or you might find a bedroom, I tell her, well, here we go, man. I don't want to date no black girl. I don't want to date no black boy. You understand me? I want my color go up higher. But we color higher, but we superior. We black color superior, so we the talk about. You understand me?
Ashe.
I'm proud of the color that I have, brother. I wish I could make me black and white black right now. I tell you, I'm proud of the color who I am.
Big respect to blackness, melanated people.
We are warriors, you understand me? But the true way to say the 1940s, come on. The black people, they should put the Maya man for the money.
Well, anyway,
you know what I mean?
Make a go, brother, and break time.
Thomas Vincent Ramos should be gone for the money.
Thanks for the call, brother.
Great leaders.
One love. Thanks, I forgot a break. Thanks for the call.
All right then, respect.
One love. George, stay there and come back. You got time, George?
I got time, man. I want to go for the rest of the day.
Listen to I know. We have George Maivitz as our guest this morning by Zoom. We're talking about African people, racialized as black people in Belize. African people emancipation day at 365 days. That's not one day. And what happened in the past have everything to do with how we as black people that Belize around the world live every day because of what happened in the past. Stay tuned, break time.
Get ready for back to school with Benny's B-Books. We have limited edition Benny's exercise and composition books just in time for the new school year. Get 6 composition books for 5 B-Bucks and 12 exercise books for only 2 B-Bucks. Benny's and B-Books, getting you ready for back to school.
We are ready for back to school. Are you?
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm sorry. I help you right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Planning a trip to Belize? Here's how to complete your I Declare Arrival form in 5 easy steps. Step 1. Visit belizetravel.immigration.gov.bz. Step 2. Select the appropriate forms for arrivals. Choose Arriving to Belize. Step 3. Provide your origin trip details, including your departure airport and country of residence. Step 4. Carefully complete the immigration form. Add dependents if necessary. Declare baggage, currency, and merchandise, and confirm your entries are correct. Step 5. Download your completed form and take a screenshot of your QR code and reference ID to present to the immigration officer. Thank you for using Belize iTravel. Safe journey.
Our banknotes are changing, but why did we update them? The central bank continuously assesses the integrity of our banknotes to maintain quality and security. The old series of banknotes has been in circulation for more than the recommended lifespan, which is 7 to 10 years. The new banknotes integrate enhanced security measures to combat counterfeiting, making transactions safer for everyone, giving you the confidence that your money is safe and authentic. Our money should be as strong and secure as our economy, and the new banknotes reflect that commitment. New look, same value, more secure. Learn more at www.centralbank.org.bz. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We have one conversation with Brother George Mivett on Zoom about all things African, racialized as black people that Belize. George, I find the document where I'm going to tell you about where I'm going to look for. And make I tell you know what he say. The time period of 1861, 1871, and 1881. And they tell you the countries where people may ban at the time. The majority of the people in 1861 were that I believe at that time. They're from the Yucatan. 9,870, no, British Honduras, they were part of the majority of ban. 10,937. The next majority of them from the Yucatan, 9,817. In 1871, that means 6,069. In 1881, that means 4,088. The reason why I bring this up, that because we not study and know his stories, and I know that that time period in the 60s had majority African people racialized as black people. That is true. But we have to look back for come forward for say, they never, when we people come here, they had more African people than European people. For sure. They did. But after the social war, what they call the caste war, the dynamics change as far as up north having one bigger population. So, but if we not study, then we can make the correction to colonize narratives. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, we have to recognize that Maya people were here. That's why private landholders at Toledo right now have major concerns. Because the Maya people win the land right case because they prove them there over 3,000 years and they have the Maya pyramid for show them there before European people come. Respect to Maya people, indigenous people. Now make a look for African people racialized as black people. Because we don't know his story. Like we know about Simon Lam on 10th of September. How we never know about Simon Lam on African Emancipation Day? Somebody decide it best for we don't know. and stick with the 10th of September narrative. Somebody decide that. So I just say, only the people want to save the people, Brother George. So I really, never from a position of ego, where I say, make I bring George because George write one poem about me. That was incentive. But incentive from the point that if you not tell your own story, somebody else want to tell it, and they tell it how they want. Now, that the first time here today, what George say, he here, anybody know the Memorial Park then, because I don't give them no energy like that, that you never hear them call my name. And I had said on Monday with 7 News that they stop cover African people Emancipation Day from a UEF perspective, and the last time they do it, they water it down. No, that's the way I say you have to watch who tell a story and how they tell it. So, and I shared both of the writings where you do, and I got good feedback, and that was primarily, it's somebody have to, or somebody's have to write for we stories and tell for we stories, because over a period of time, if all people that listen to that state, one media house, and in both instances, they make no acknowledgement of UBAD Educational Foundation and community support. After a while, people want things that the state start this thing. You see what I mean, George? You make the half. You make the half. I'm not hear you.
Hello.
I hear you now.
What's up? All right, here we go. Yes, sis. Can I inject just a little bit of science in the narrative?
Yes.
What I would say is that when you talk about our history in the context of emancipation and liberation, there is recent history, and then there is prehistory. In terms of recent history, YaYa, I observed this this land rights issue, and it's a very, very delicate subject in many ways. But when you speak the truth shall set you free. There are struggles going on in the South in the wake of that land rights case. And some of the struggles are that the quote-unquote Mayan people are apportioning lands that the quote-unquote non-Mayan people feel predated and they have a legitimate right to. It needs to be looked at very carefully. Why am I saying this, YaYa? Belize, one of the blessings of Belize, and I'll go back to my work colleague who is now dead, Adalbert Tucker. Adalbert Tucker felt that Belize was special. He felt that Belize was a sanctuary for humanity. And he felt that this was one of the only a few places on the planet that people of different race, color, creed, etc. can live together. And we have been living together in relative harmony. And so when you have a kind of Mayan line right case that is a potential instrument of division, I don't know that that's a part of the history that we should be proud of. I believe that before you're a Mayan, you're a Belizean. And what I believe has happened to some extent is that the cruelty associated with the indigenous versus the colonizers in North America, specifically in the United States, they have used that narrative to say that the Mayans in Belize were dispossessed and the Mayans in Belize to some extent were persecuted, which is obviously not so. All right? Just like how the quote-unquote Caribs found a home in Belize, the Mayans throughout, and you talked about the Yucatan peoples that came in the north, the ones in the south and in the west basically came from across the border in Guatemala.
Wait, George. Now, one of the issues we have is because we not studied together and have reasoning based on evidence, one number away, speak generally. The Maya people win the case. They win it because they provide the evidence that they were here before the colonizer came. Now that just evidence. Now I push back on what you say. Columbus make people believe in our nationality because then decide to put up borders and set a certain name. I don't want spirit having an African woman experience. I very clear who me. So your nationality and your identity could be the same, but Maya people, indigenous people, always maintain their indigenousness.
Well,
so I agree that there's an issue down south, but there's an issue because of lack of knowledge. The state had a duty for a public awareness campaign for shared knowledge. It know what end up good, you know.
Well, let me say that I am from the west of this country. The south, me never gone south to me about 30 years old. I have been south over the last couple of years, and I saw what the tension is. And even on this radio station, people are calling in to register the same sentiment that I just said, where people feel that at some point, there has to be a limit to that which the quote-unquote Mayans in the South would be claiming, because the case has basically said that what you now need to do is to decide how you will implement this judgment. And this judgment has in its wake that you need to demarcate that which would be land that would be apportioned to the quote-unquote Mayans. You know what they said is, YaYa? You know that if me and you go visit Ancestry.com, I give a short story again. You know you got Mayan blood in you. I feel like 99.99% you got Mayan blood in you. Yeah. My paternal grandfather came from Nicaragua, lived in Honduras for a while, and then he came to Belize. That man, that we used to call him YaYa man, quote-unquote mosquito Indian, indigenous, right? My maternal grandmother, Ostakia Armstrong, came from Belize, from Guatemala, migrated into Belize via Bolitri. My maternal grandmother was about 4 feet tall. She was as close to a Mayan Indian as you can get. She identified as a Mayan Indian. So when you are looking at an outcome that says we need to demarcate and apportion some aspect of Belize for Mayans, then YaYa, I see what it takes.
No, another text because this is why I'm saying to you, George, and to listeners.
How do you exclude me, YaYa? Because I am walking around with 1/8 of the genes that my grandmother carried. I am walking around with 1/8 of the genes that my paternal grandfather carried. So at what point do you draw the line and say that you are not Mayan enough to inherit or to be a part of the grand apportioning of the Toledo district? So I think that I will have, and I'm trying to say this delicately, there has to be great thought and conversations, as you have said, in terms of these matters. I can recall, and again, I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds, but I can recall where a young man was trussed up, a black African dude like me, was trussed up by the Mayans and marched, essentially bombed, because he had a Mayan wife in the South. You see the point I'm making?
George, I'm not saying that prejudice and discrimination does not exist within the Maya people. What I am saying is cooler head needs to prevail based on evidence. Be very clear. The indigenous people who came from the Mosquito Shore that we call YaYa were not Maya people. And that's why I'm going to look for the evidence Again, this
Right.
come back to African people, I believe, because I think it was like in December, and I've had this professor on Sunday Review, and now a big thing that in Christmas of 1821, over 90 enslaved people approached the British superintendent of Belize, George Arthur, for petition and freedom, because they observed that the African people enslaved, and that they enslaved them because they mixed with African and indigenous people from the Mosquito Shore area. So in the article where I did look for, where we call YaYa people, that because then explain the different indigenous people from that area, and one of the group of people, now the only way they come enslaved them that because they look African. They might have different texture here, but that because they look black while they enslaved them. Let's be clear. These 90-something people won their freedom. They lose the legal case.
Well,
and I mean, a big deal because this has never happened before. But I just said to you, when we say indigenous people, we need to be clear that they have different groups of indigenous people. So Sambo, for example, that may one of the indigenous people from that area. So they had the Tawira Mosquito enslaved people. You had the I don't want to care, but I just want to make that clarification that the people in what come from the Mosquito Shore were not Maya people. No, you make one point where I never think about.
No.
I don't want to give you credit for that. I never think about one African presenting person could have Maya bloodline. And if that was taken into consideration, when they say, I don't need the Maya people and take that into consideration, especially if they have biases where people will look African. That's a valid point. I never think about it.
Well, and this is the point that I'm making, YaYa. The case, one foundation of the case was that the courts needed to recognize and make allowances for indigenous peoples. And if a part of my lineage, the YaYa man who come from Nicaragua, is indigenous, then how you want to exclude me? And how you want to exclude
George,
100,000 people?
But
from,
George, I'm not saying I have the answer.
So it gets complicated. So if you want to discount the quote-unquote mosquito Indian aspect of me, would you discount my grandmother, who is 99% Mayan?
No, I would not.
So complicated it gets?
No, so all right, good. George, I'm conceding that I never think about that. And it is an area and that's why I would say we need to have reasonable conversation. My concern is you have groups of people where they fix on this position and they don't want to hear nothing else. I cannot have conversations with people like that. We need to be reasonable. I don't know what will be the solution, but because one lot of we don't know the history of this country, really don't know it, we don't want to hear nothing. We don't want to hear, when the Creole want to get in, it's to overstand that the Maya people were here first. You cannot dispute it. They were here before the European colonizers came.
Remember, YaYa, that the entire human family derives from Africa.
I agree. They could have the region. We have the word.
This is what I am saying. A part of the discrimination acts basically say that we are not African. But there is only one tribe, not even tribe. There's only one group of people that gave rise to the entire human species. You know from an evolutionary standpoint, YaYa, that there has been a number of different species of men on this planet, but only one survived.
Homo sapiens. I had this conversation Monday, George.
Two, I just want to make the point, YaYa, that earlier you talked about, well, history probably go back 6,000 years. Well, actually, there's mitochondrial Eve that did not come from London, did not come from Beijing, and did not come from Moscow. Mitochondrial Eve came from the plains of Africa. And mitochondrial Eve is somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000 years old. And a part of the pushback of discrimination basically say, well, there are a number of species of people, and which is true, but my uncle Daniel and King Charles, and just about everybody that you know on this planet, they have the same great grandmother to the nth generation as me. And so when I see that tool of discrimination being wielded, I believe that it is being wielded in anger, it's being wielded in hatred, but it's not buoyed by knowledge. And I give you, YaYa, 100% kudos for having me on the show to talk about these things, because people are in denial and they say, no, actually, YaYa, as recent as 3,000 years ago, the average person from London was dark-skinned. The mutation that brought about, quote-unquote, white complexion is a very, very recent intervention. So why all the noise? Well, why all the noise is that us that are more highly melanized and that are blessed, we have been picked upon for various reasons, and I touched some of them. We are strong, we are smart, we are resilient, whatever. We have been persecuted for the wrong reasons. And I am saying, I see this, you talked about, I skip Martina is now. You talk about, first I heard, what you call it, sweet pepper nose. And I am, hey, YaYa, you see this nose, hello, this I know a sharp. Yeah, you know what this is all about? You see this lip, YaYa? There's some thick lip, right? You see this complexion, YaYa? This is a part of evolution. Why did it happen, YaYa? Well, when you are in Central Africa, going back 10 million years, where the savannas was climate change happening, where the forest retreated and you had great savannas, one of the apes that came down from the tree began to walk upright. All right? And what has happened over time is that that ape transformed into what we call the Homo gene, the Homo group, the hominid apes. And so we are just, when you look at our story as human beings, that is where we are. We come from the same place genetically. But I think that ethnicity and other factors have kind of crept in. And so you have this division among the species, but it's one species. The Mayan come from the same place where I come from, and everybody that you know came from the same place that I have come from. This complexion that I have, YaYa, you know about what? When the sun hot, me not go buy no, sunscreen, or no, YaYa.
We need to though. They do have sunscreen for melanated people. We think like how we got melanin, we still need natural sunscreen.
Yeah, but Jah bless me, depending on who you know, Jah bless me with melanin. So obviously, if you want your sunscreen, I know I use the same grade, but you know, that's the part.
We are the original sun people.
You see this lip and this nose, you know why this stick?
Why?
Because what you want to do, if the sun the beat down.
Wait, George, we have one call. This is the last call for this segment. Carla, go ahead, quick, you got 2 minutes. Tell me.
Good morning. I really hate to interrupt the guy you have on the show. It's sounds very interesting. I interrupted him already on another show, so I'll take it quick. YaYa, yesterday you were talking about land and the legends and the land, you know. I need to call because the Minister of Lands, this Minister of Lands is amazing. I am obviously not on his party, with his party, I agree with his party, but I will tell you today, almost everybody who went to vote got a piece of paper to go and pay the $500 and get their piece of land, first time landowner. You hear, oh, they want to give me a land, where the land done? You hear after that, you know why the Guatemalans and the Salvadorians have big swaths of land? Because they don't mind go live in the leather roof mass. They don't mind go live way back at Caracol. They don't care because eventually that will not be. You believe them, you know where they have? They got internet, they got light, they got water, they got road. everything they want. And they want the minister to wake up, send the driver, go pick them up to their house, and carry the people who come from other countries there don't need that. You know what they do? They go and they go live in the bush, in one house back out at Tripoli. And 20 years later, you go back there, and your jaw drop on the ground. If you go to Bear Vista, I used to despise Bear Vista. I used to despise Banana Bank. I used to say, how come there are people call, I got this. You know what? If you go to Banana Bank today, and I realize these are hard-working people who gone back there, who took the chance of one day their life. And now if you look at how nice it is, you don't hate these people because they came here and that's what they have. You choose to sit home, go party for every single pan we knock, and never get up and go. Then you look back at these people and holler, the whole he just clear, what he got? Because he got up and went to work. And when there was a holiday, he didn't take it. Oh, you believe that? Oh, tomorrow holiday, I have to go to work. You understand me?
I hear you, brother.
It is not that I don't respect my believers. I will tell you what happened today. They want to sit down and they watch everything when it makes sense. I look God at everything when it make no reason. Do you notice that Emancipation Day just left us? That's the day that they freed the slave, right? Right now, what rule they come out, what law and come out and take away freedom. We have already been freed. This 13th Amendment will take away our freedom, YaYa. How much thousand Belizeans were gone out on Emancipation Day will not show up at the consultation and say, this is going to affect me? You get what I'm saying?
I hear you, brother.
This are my black people. This law no affect Chinese, Mennonite, what few Spanish people are they in it because they're the knucklehead. You know what affect the Indian community, you know what affect the Mayan community, you know who this law will affect? Right back at Martins, they will got the most people will be affected. Just put it in that area, that division, and nobody. On Juve morning, YaYa, I bet you there will be more than 10,000 black people on the streets of Belize. You understand me?
I forgot a break.
Yeah.
I forgot a break.
I was going to intervene.
I give another minute at the past break time. And George, you want to say something? Where want to say, George?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that the narrative of this gentleman...
All right, no problem. Come back. Go ahead, George.
The narrative of this gentleman is exactly what I think is dangerous in many ways because he's generalizing. I can give you the story at Georgeville.
Wait, I have to go to break, George. When you come back, we are finished.
Black village.
Wait, George, I have to go to break, a past break. I have to come back. Break time.
All right.
Every moment matter with your credit card. More transactions, more chances to win cash back. You can be one of 4 monthly winners. Get a chance to win cash back with every purchase of $100 or more. For more information, visit www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. George, finish up your answer. I know the call back shortly.
Yeah. I was making the point that what this caller has done, he is basically overgeneralized in terms of, especially my people, the people of Afro descent and Afro identity. Because he's saying that, Belize people just, they don't want anything in terms of land. And I'm saying, no, certainly not. What he's doing, he is making it easy for the political status quo to basically say, come election time, what will happen? We'll produce some bad man, quote unquote, 70% proof liquor, and we will have a boom box, and we will quell the crowd with that, the people of African descent. That is erroneous. What I am saying is that land is a very valuable commodity, and you cannot generalize about it or overgeneralize about it. I can tell you where I was born and raised in Georgeville. When I was coming up, there were about 2 or 3 landowners that owned thousands of acres of land. But you know what the Georgeville people did? And very recently, they basically approached the government and they say, you know what, some people never had to pay taxes, etc., etc. You see all of those lands that we had no access to? We need to have access to those lands. And so if there's a story to be written, go to Georgeville, and find out that somebody who grew up with no land have 30, 40 acres of land or 100 acres of land behind Georgeville. So this narrative that our native people, especially the Afro descent people, they will just stay and wait for, no, that's a false narrative. And I need for, when they say burn that out, because it's not true. What pains my heart is that what is being given to a lot of people in Belize City in terms of land is actually swamp. And I know they talk about swamp that is emergent at certain time of the year, which is dry weather. I know at 8 miles, I know it firsthand. There are tons of acres that have been given to our people where they can't access. And what will happen is that those lands will probably go back to in their natural state, or they will remain in their natural state. So it's a complicated issue, the whole issue of land. In defense of the Minister of Lands, as you know, YaYa, I volunteer with the fishers. Way back in 1992, the ex-honorable Florencia Marin basically said, you know what, poor fishermen want own land that turn F. And obviously it's across the board, Mayan people, Spanish people, Black African people. And you know what happened, YaYa? It's not happening. It has not happened since then. So we have been in contact with the minister, and the minister we're making some headway with that. So I just want to say you have to be careful.
I agree, and that's why we need to have these community conversations and be reasonably in the conversation and be willing to say, no, I never know that. I hear you. I know better now. And we could learn from anybody. We don't have conversations to prove who right and who wrong. The hope is that we have the conversations to understand one another position. You could have one position even with evidence which I don't agree with. But that's okay. The fact that you have the space to put the position forward, that will matter. And we want to share this because anybody could go and go look on it. If you go up online, I'll send it to Christy. It's called Law, Lineage, Gender, and the Lives of Enslaved Indigenous People on the Edge of the 19th Century Caribbean. The person who wrote it named Nathaniel Millet. Caller, thanks for calling. Go ahead. Please turn down your volume for where to listen to WePan. Okay, go ahead and talk.
Blessed morning, sis.
Morning, brother. Tell me.
Yes, well, you know, I usually make my monthly call.
Yes.
Justice for the Ramnaris brothers, justice for Michael Williams, justice for Orlando Castellanos, justice for Farid Ahmad, and we're challenging the commissioner to take up the Farid case and bring Michelle Brown to come testify, give her the necessary protection he needs so he could get this case finished, no? Also, YaYa, I never want to call in because I really enjoy the education, the black education we received this morning. And kudos to the guy.
George Mybit is his name.
Mr. George, providing the very informative things, no? I just want to say one thing because you know we promote the African family well, and if you come to Belmopan right now, I see they take interest and they fix up by the Olmec head, paint it up nice and everything, no? I just want to say one visit I made to Mexico, to one of the biggest pyramids that exist in the entire world, right? Chichen Itza. So the tour guide said something to me that can't get out of my head. The tour guide said that they did carbon dating on the Olmec heads that they found, the colossal stones that they found, and they found out that the test shows that the rocks that they were constructed out of older than any other thing where they're around this area. So saying that we made a talk about the Mayas earlier, the Mayas, they need to realize that just like Mr. Judge said, everything comes from African, you understand? And we can't fight and say Belize the phone because the history, when they teach you, when the guides, they tell you when you go to Mexico, to Chichen Itza, that when the Mayas were walking through the jungle and they stumbled upon the pyramids, where we know now at Chichen Itza and the pyramids, the Altonha, the San Antonich, the Nimlipolit, all of them, they say when they stumbled upon it, they fell to their knees. And you know what they said? Only the gods could have built the thing here and live here, and then they, in turn, re-inhabit the place. So these pyramids that the Mayas and they claim they constructed and all that, that is not so. This thing goes farther back than then. So they claim that the Belize that they have more rights over Belize, and that is not true. We, the black African people, and carbon dating also shows that our pyramids, where we have there what we call ruins, are older than the Giza, the one in Egypt. So that's something for us to listen to and swallow the pills this morning, because there are big pills for the swallow, but we have been taught a whole heap of lie to make we discredit our own self and we ancestors. We bring it to this point. So kudos to you, man. Thank you for all the information on the spread and make we keep it going. Have a blessed morning, sis.
Respect, brother. Big thanks, big thanks.
Yes,
for sure, the Olmec are the foreparents of the Maya people, and there are different positions on African people being in this part of the world before indigenous people, when indigenous people, depending on where you get information from. But this is where I may want to share quickly, George. It says indigenous people continue for be one significant portion, one significant percentage of Belize's total enslaved population. In 1823, for example, Superintendent Edward Codd estimated that the population of enslaved people of Belize was approximately 2,500 to 2,600 individuals, of whom near 1,500 are Africans and the remainder Creoles and the descendants of Indians. If one conservatively estimate that half of the 1,000 to 1,100 non-African enslaved were indigenous or of partial indigenous ancestry, then enslaved indigenous people and their descendants represented at least 20% of those held in bondage. Carla, hold on 1 second. Using the same numbers, the 95 petitioners represented approximately 17% of Belize's total population of indigenous enslaved people and around 3% of all enslaved people. So when we hear about enslaved people of Belize, we think as so 100% African or African mixed with certain European. But we don't know, and so we can't talk about the African were mixed with indigenous people from the Mosquito Shore. Carla, thanks for being patient. Go ahead.
Greetings once again, in the name of the Most High Jah.
Greetings, brother.
I agree if anybody tells me that all the races, but in this point, the regional race, which is called Maya, come from us or have our futures blood or whatever they want to say they have. But I do not agree the opposite way. I don't want people to say, oh, you have Maya, because no, I don't have Maya. They have my melanin. They have our ancestors' blood because they came before Columbus. And as they mentioned, the Olmec, the Aztec, the Chichimec, and the Mohicans was the races in Mexico. And like the brother said, some race, I forgot which race he mentioned, the European somewhere, black, or the Jews, the original Jew. The same way, if you study the ancient Mayan people, there were nobody clear complexion. There's a book called The Black Indians, and they refer to those Mayans. Long,
very good.
People with long hair like the one in India, but they're fully 100% jet black. And even if they want the night, and my personal experience, but before I forget, the Olmec had left a head. I don't quite remember, but somewhere around in the Mayan area of Mexico, and I call it Mexico because it's not Mexico. European call it Mexico. Mexico from Mojica, originates from the Mojica tribe that was in the city of Mexico when Hernan Cortez reached and raped them and thieved them and enslaved them. Ixtliltong is the name of the head, 5,000 tons in weight, meaning black head. And those indigenous people and those years, like 5,000 years ago, they had them as the black god. And when you look at this head, thick lip, flat nose.
Caller.
I wrap up my personal experience with the Maya. Huh?
Look, I find it interesting, right? That the Mexican embassy come put one big black head in the capital of Belize. The Mexican embassy. The hell we, watch out, it's a ono. That one black head, that one black face. And that Belize we don't got nothing we show African features like that. That the Mexican have to remind we this are ono black people.
Yeah, I tell you the head is right there in Mexico. 5,000 tons.
But in Belmopan they have a replica of the big roundabout.
Oh, okay.
Facing the Mexican embassy.
What I want to say and wrap up, my personal experience is I lived throughout Central America, Mexico, and even South America, and all those different tribes that are all Maya, but they just have different names. They have the same stigma as the Latino people. The Indo-Latino is called Indo because they come from indigenous tribes. They look at black the same way how a lot of the Mayans that I experienced look at me. They always have some way to mock me, some way to make a joke out of me because I'm my African descendant. But all praises be to the Most High. With the knowledge of land, which is only a drop of water in the ocean, and make them shut up their mouth. Respect, wadada.
Thanks, brother. I'm not denying that there's discrimination and biases. I'm not. With ethnic groups in Belize. In this case, we look for Maya and African descent people. George, before we go, we can't get wrong that the Maya, they win the land rights case, yes? They win the case. They gone before a European court and they win the case. So now, the state have one duty to enforce what the law say. I don't know what I say, George. Maybe we take one quick break and come right back. Break time.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Use B-Bucks to purchase items at any Benny's location. Spend B-Bucks on items in-store after you have earned them. You can gift or transfer B-Bucks to another B-Bucks member or registered charity. To learn more, visit our website at www.bbucks.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with B-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's. Quality and savings.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
Nuestros billetes están cambiando, pero ¿por qué los actualizamos? El Banco Central evalúa continuamente la integridad de nuestros billetes para mantener la calidad y la seguridad. La serie anterior de billetes han estado en circulación por más del tiempo de vida recomendado, que es de 7 a 10 años. Los nuevos billetes integran medidas de seguridad mejoradas para combatir la falsificación, haciendo las transacciones más seguras para todos, dándoles la confianza de que su dinero es seguro y auténtico. Nuestro dinero debe ser tan fuerte como nuestra economía. Y los nuevos billetes reflejan ese compromiso. Nueva imagen, mismo valor, más seguros. Para obtener más información, visite www.centralbank.org.bz. Un comunicado del Banco Central de Belice.
Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes wrap-up session. I can't take no more calls. Brother George gone. Okay, I can't take no more calls. I just want to wrap this up. Big thanks, Brother George Mivit. The conversation going in a different direction, but was a good conversation. Thanks to the callers who were calling. I just want to share quickly so that Belizeans have more knowledge about indigenous people from what we know as the Mosquito Shore. So this article we are telling about law, lineage, gender, and the lives of enslaved indigenous people on the edge of the 19th century Caribbean by Nathaniel Millett. It shared that as Christmas 1821 get near, more than 90 enslaved people approached the British superintendent of Belize, Colonel George Arthur, a petitioner for their freedom. Officially tolerated by the Spanish Empire since the late 18th century, British settlers, Africans, indigenous people, and mixed-race individuals participate in our extraction economy that revolve around mahogany cutting the Belize. This stretch of the Caribbean, Central America was not, however, the initial scene of enslavement. George said he see himself on the screen for many of the freedom seekers of 1821. Come in, George. Instead, make I just finish this up and then I'll get the mic to George. Instead, these men and women, or one or more of their ancestors, first become enslaved on the Mosquito Shore, which is situating along the Caribbean coast of today eastern Nicaragua and Honduras. The Mosquito Shore witnessed more English activity beginning in the first half of the 17th century, which is like 1600. It was contested by Spain. The Mosquito Shore never became a formal British colony. However, instead of the watchful eye of officials of Jamaica, after the mid-18th century, so after 1750, one local superintendent, British subjects, free people of color, and the enslaved established settlements in that area for extract resources, agriculture, and trade. The Tawira mosquito concentrated in the south and identifying as indigenous descended, and Sambo mosquitoes identifying as Afro-indigenous and based primarily in the north, wielding much geopolitical and economic power across the Mosquito Shore of Central America. I mean, in accordance with the 1786 Convention of London, the Spanish take formal control of the Mosquito Shore in 1787, resulting in the evacuation of 2,214 people that Belize, of whom nearly 1,700 were enslaved, including many of the petitioners of some of the fair bearers. So there are 95 people who were eventually free. They recognize that in a European mindset, African people enslaved. And then they say, they know they have indigenous blood in there. And so, and they have the original document. When this one come forward and said, George Granny, me know Herman Granny, and Herman Granny, me know so and so. And based on those oral and written records, then people, again, they win the legal case, but they free them because they make the point that they're never 100% African. And because they're never 100% African, they had a right to be free. You see how the thing come full circle, George? Wrap up, we have to go.
Always an honor to be in the WB. I think that we have, to a large extent, flagged the trials and tribulations of people of black ancestry in Belize. What we haven't talked about much is the solution side of it. I see obviously the glass as half full, and I believe that black people in Belize, to a large extent, have been reduced to a consumer block. And that in and of itself is not bad, because the almighty dollar in your hand could be a source of tremendous power. It's a conversation that needs a part two, at least a part two. And I am hopeful, YaYa, that there will be the space for us to carry on this conversation, to round out some of the points that need to be made, to cross some of the T's and dot some of the I's.
Respect, George.
Good morning, Belize.
Big thanks, George Mivit. We have to wrap up shop. When I come in this morning, Roger, rapper, Rushford, I'm in the security. Now, who does security? I guess Shane Flowers? Shane at the security. Here at XTV, we have Krista Flowers as the technical director, Harlan Wagner As the chief engineer downstairs at Crum Radio, we have Larry Guerrero, known as Larry G. We want to thank everybody. We call, we text, we share the Zoom link, not the Zoom link, we share the Facebook link, we share the YouTube link. This show on repeat at 3:30 this evening on the local XTV channel. Remember to share the links. This is how we share knowledge, and with more knowledge, we're in our position to make more informed decisions in our we best interest. Give thanks to everybody. We're lucky for the 3 days we're hosts, and Brother Noor Muhammad should be back tomorrow. And when you make good choices, be intentional for find joy in our life today. And my sister from Atlanta, we're tuning this morning. Thanks. One love. Honor the people and save the people.
Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion and place your calling. Get up, make every day count up.